All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Triple B. This one's just going to be another reposting. I'm going to be reposting my interview with JD Delay. It's just something I like to do on this channel. Is if I have an interview elsewhere, I like to also put it here. Just that way we can get more eyes on it. If on the off chance one of them gets deleted, there's another one still available somewhere. So that's just kind of what I'm doing today. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background to what was going on with JD Delay. Because you can go through the comment sections and people will be like, it's cut. He didn't say this. He promised us this. And they're right. Realistically, I probably sat down for 30 minutes as opposed to the 17 that was posted with JD Delay. And there is a good reason for that. I really think JD was trying to protect me because I was running my mouth so much. I was dropping names. I was dropping businesses. We had some discussions beforehand that a lot of it probably wouldn't make it because, in his eyes, he's worried about my safety, which I really value and appreciate. He was looking out. But for me, I'm less concerned about my own personal safety, and I was more worried about it from a strategic standpoint. The reality is that JD Delay has a lot of Antifa on his channel, including Eugene Antifa, who has made it very apparent that they're watching me. Hi, guys. Miss you. But if I were to say these names, they would run back and report. And then these criminals would be able to hide the evidence. So we didn't give them that opportunity. I know it's a little less exciting for you guys because I'm not dropping all the dirt. But here's the reality. If and when these people get arrested, we're going to drag them. And we're going to drag them hard. Because once you see these people, it's very easy to drag them. These people are retarded. But he got it on recording. I sent it to him in a message too, so it was written. I gave him the names of all the businesses that I believe are associated with this person. Following the interview, he was going to sit down with the FBI like immediately afterwards because of the swatting attempts that he had. So I asked him to pass along everything that I told him. So from where I'm sitting, the feds are probably aware of the things that I've been saying and trying to educate you guys on. And if you're listening to this, guys, come knock on my door. I'm inviting you to my home. Let's sit down. Let's have some coffee. Let's have some snacks. And let's figure this out. I am not a fan of the federal government. I like the theory in the beginning that Trump was going to do away with the FBI and the ATF and the IRS and all that. And I'm like, yeah. But realistically, I'm kind of looking at this now like, holy crap, they're some of the only agencies willing to tackle Antifa. So maybe for the moment, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because the reality is, while there's a lot of corrupt individuals in the FBI and the federal government, not all of them are. A lot of them are trying their best right now to keep us safe. To the corrupt, evil motherfuckers out there, that's what you get. But to the ones that are trying and seriously serving their country to try and protect us from these very, very real and existential threats, thank you. And I really hope that the good ones come knocking on my door because I have a lot that I want to tell you guys. Because we have to fight for this country. That means I have to sit down with a white separatist. If that means I have to sit down with feds, if that means I have to sit down with anybody that I have to, I will. Guarantee that. Because here's the reality. While I wasn't necessarily with this group of individuals and Antifa, I was a frequent flyer at a local bar in downtown Eugene, and this bar was Antifa operated. The business owner was a millionaire, and we were offered bail from this individual. Should we punch a cop, get arrested, any reason that we would get arrested during a riot, we had a guaranteed out. And I acted the way I acted, believing that there was a way out if I did get arrested, which I thankfully never did. And I thankfully never accepted any money because that would have made it a lot worse. But there's a reason I didn't tell it on the channel for a very long time is because I really had to think about it. Because this person, I thought her parents were just rich, which is true. I thought this person was rich. And the reality is this person tanked their business after COVID, after allowing COVID to completely destroy it. absorbing PPE funds, taking money from local charities, all this type of stuff, crashed her business, and then was somehow able to secure multi-million-dollar donations for real estate ventures in Eugene. Real estate ventures that seem to have been stolen from different charity organizations, such as potentially, this is allegedly, until I know for sure, I believe this person stole money from the HIV Alliance and other local charity groups because this person wanted to be the savior of the LGBT community, when in reality, she had her mindset on revolution. So she stole from people who needed those resources. I believe this. I will put this at allegedly. But I have private investigators on the case. I have people who are very, very gifted in being able to follow numbers, follow money. I have pissed off locals that are trying to figure out what this bitch is doing. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I'm going to have some information by the time the feds knock on my door, so it's not just hearsay. Because every single person I have looking into this is saying that this woman is a walking, talking red flag from hell. It took a lot of time for me to even come to the conclusion that this is what it was. But once I sat down with Cyprian and a lot of these other people and I started detailing what I knew and what I experienced, everyone was like, holy crap. And the reality is this person owned a lot of businesses in downtown Eugene and was affiliated with a lot of the far left bars and areas in the entertainment sphere. This person helped to dope up the downtown Eugene community, get them pissed off, pump their head full of ideology, and then she would sick them. Over the course of Black Lives Matter and COVID, conservative, right-leaning Christian businesses were forced out from the riots. But meanwhile, people like this were able to secure power. It's almost like they weaponized us for financial gain in order to create an ideological system where no downtown business owner would disagree with the narrative. This person's not just going to jail. This person's going to fucking hell. There is no God in this woman. And that's your clue. It's a woman. Don't let her fool you otherwise. Yeah, this is funded. This is organized. And that is exactly why I went on JD delay. And again, if someone comes to kill me today, the names have already been sent out. The locations have already been sent out. So do it. The ship's already sunk. I've put plenty of contingents in place. Plenty of people know these names. We're going to sink Antifa. And I want to say a very special thank you to JD for helping me to do that. Because before I went on your channel, I had about 330 subscribers. Now we're getting close to 8,000 and people are listening. This is not their war to win. And I refuse to play a part in it. And I will sell out every single person that I have to get the job done. Because I'm an American and I'm going to preserve my country no matter what it takes. So, you guys, without further ado, let's get on to the interview. God bless y'all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are joined by a very special guest. We have Ty with us, and Ty was actually a member of the organization Antifa. Ty, welcome. Thank you for spending the time to come and talk to us today. I understand that you were able to actually deprogram to get away from Antifa, and I want you to know that we're all super proud of you, and we really appreciate you being here with us today, brother.
Thanks, man. I feel the love. Like, I appreciate your shout outs. I appreciate you reaching out. You have amazing followers. They're all flocking to my channel. And, you know, for the most part, it's nothing but love. So thank you guys for keeping it real. Yeah, it means a lot. This hasn't been an easy journey. So thank you guys.
And it should always be love, man. Like, that's really the way that we fix this, is by finding common ground, by, finding mutual things that we have in common and not letting that gap keep growing, because things are escalating and that's not going to be good for either side, any of the American people. And all it really does when things escalate and they get into violence, in my opinion, we are purposefully divided by the ones who are actually in power, because it's so much easier to control us and keep their foot on our neck if we're fighting with each other, while they absolutely bleed us dry and we lose our only chance at the American dream. So I wanted to ask you, how long were you in Antifa?
I believe it was about 2 years, 2018 to 2020.
And were you recruited? Did you seek them out? How exactly did that work?
I sought them out. I was very well aware from the beginning that it was an organization. I just wasn't sure how it operated, and I never fell into any particular group or cell. I was kind of a drifter, so I just kind of blew where the wind took me. I was led into and out of the chaos, but yeah, I sought them out.
So you may have been a drifter, but can you clarify this for us? As somebody who was in Antifa, is it a actual organization?
100,000%. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise.
And they have like a hierarchy and a leadership structure. What is that like?
Well, the way I classify the two classes of Antifa, at least street level, you have the devotees and you have the wannabes. The devotees are people like me, people who are really in it for the Civil War aspect. We knew damn well we were playing in Civil War territory. We wanted to fight. We wanted to take out our political enemies. We wanted to take out all our rage. We were willing to do what the little trans kids on the college campus wouldn't, right? They're the wannabes, the furries, the one coming out in the dinosaur suits, all of which is made to make it look light and fluffy, while people like me were behind the scenes. I would walk around with a machete half the size of my fucking leg. I called it my self-defense machete. It's fucking pathetic. But so the devotees kind of use the wannabe class as human shield. So a lot of the time the wannabes would get taken out first because they want to be virtuous. They want to be there with their cameras at the front, and then holy shit, here come the rubber bullets. And then the ones in the back can be like, see, we told you. And then some of them can go to fight, and then others can go to run away.
That's crazy, man. So, would you classify this organization as terroristic?
Yep. My thoughts going into
you're saying they want civil war, so.
Yeah, it's a domestic terror organization. I wish it could have gone differently. I love alternate history as much as the next guy. I'd love to see what that world looks like, but unfortunately the reality is like this is bad. This is a white boy jihad, and it's going to get fucked up.
Well, I'm hoping that we can avoid that. I don't know exactly how we would get there, but it seems almost like it has elements of a cult per se. Did you see elements of sort of a cultish structure there?
It's a cult, but it's a cult with cults, I'm realizing, which is even fucking worse.
They say that it's just an ideology and it's just an idea, but they have structure. They have, it feels like there's layers to the whole thing, and it seems like it's very complex. Did you ever see anything that made you think that they were funded from any outside entities?
I started doing some investigations into my channel, and along the way I met this guy, and he told me he was a part of Antifa, but he was very, very paranoid, and I didn't really know why, so I kind of had to work my way in and be like, dude, like, what's going on with you? And what I ultimately learned is that he was being gang stalked by criminal organizations that he had been a part of. He had gotten into Antifa for probably a couple weeks, couple months, I can't remember specifically, but he was going in as a drug mule to sell drugs to these kids. And he was also leaning on the anti-fascist ideology. He had his own gripes with white supremacy from his past and his family. And he wanted to fight Nazis, but he realized how stupid they were. But then he just kind of stayed embedded because he still had to make the money, right? He told me a lot, essentially that Chinese criminal syndicates were in control of Portland and God knows how much of the rest of Oregon. He just told me Portland. But essentially that they were sending agents in and they were mitigating the chaos, and that they had people everywhere, and that when a riot breaks out in one side of the city and all the cops and all the resources and all the media are there and they can monitor the traffic from their agents, their drones, their people in certain places, that gives them leeway to do operations like child trafficking, weapons trade, drug trade. So while we were all fighting each other and we're all wondering, where are the kids? Why is there so many drugs? Why are all these people so militant? this is what was happening. This was the reality of what right versus left brought us in this country. That's the fucking reality of Antifa.
It sounds like they're also being funded through illegal activities. Is Antifa participating in illegal activities to raise their funding for the organization and the things that they're doing?
I believe that local businesses, at least I can say in Eugene, a lot of these far left areas, especially areas of entertainment, and let's just say debauchery, a lot of the bars, a lot of them were in bed with Antifa, and I think a lot of them were getting in bed with local charities and NGOs. And I really believe that, look, the National Guard is great and everything. You really want to sink these motherfuckers? Sick the IRS on them. Audit everybody, because there's multiple ways that these kids were getting funding. You know, for a lot of them, people like me, it was kind of like Scientology, pay to play. Yeah, you got to pay your bills, but you might also need the mask for tomorrow type stuff. And then for the girls in Antifa, a lot of them were sex workers. So they're making a shit ton of money that guys like us couldn't make. And then on the community level, a lot of these bars and a lot of these downtown businesses, they pride themselves on the idea of revolution, a new world, apocalyptic narratives that we're all going to die. You go around to all these places and it has satanic imagery fucking everywhere.
I mean, it sounds borderline like the women might even be being trafficked to a certain extent by the organization. But have you seen stuff like drug dealing going on? And have you seen any possible links? I know you mentioned Chinese organizations. Have you seen any links with cartels in Antifa?
Well, the Chinese syndicates would be communist Chinese cartels. So they're their own form of cartel. But I think especially as Texas pushed out a lot of the migrant crisis, you started to notice there was more Mexicans popping up there. I think a lot of that was going on. I have my suspicions. I won't say them on camera, just on the off chance that I'm wrong, because I don't want to take a bullet to the head. But I do believe that there are multiple syndicates and criminal organizations that play here. Okay,
so you've already said that they were encouraging edging towards civil war. Have you seen Antifa pushing its members towards escalating violence?
100%. And they play with the same language that gets played in the Middle East. They throw it all around Oregon. You'd see it spray painted around the campuses. Antifada. And the word Antifa is literally in that. So, I mean, sometimes the universe just tells you things flat out. A lot of what's happening in the Middle East, it's really the same as what's going on here. We're in the early stages of stone throwing. That stone throwing led to a lot of public optics of, oh no, the kids are being shot at, they're being attacked, how horrible, how horrible. Meanwhile, the footage of them punching a police officer gets blocked out. So you're dealing with a culture that's essentially creating a narrative of almost an apartheid system. That's kind of why they look at you guys like you and get scared. They're like, you are not a part of our society. The same way people over in Israel, over in the other side of that in Gaza, they'll be like, oh, you're colonialist, you're settlers. Like, they're looking at a lot of these conflicts overseas and they're LARPing and they're putting themselves in that exact same position because this is a globalist movement. This is all nations. This is in the UK. This is in Ireland. This is in Africa. This is in Japan. And a lot of them really seek a world without borders, but at the same time, you have to have borders. So it's a very discoherent system, but the media really props it up. Like KEZI, whenever the federal courthouse got attacked again recently, they're like, oh my God, protesters are being kidnapped. No, they're being detained.
Let me ask you this. How were you able to get out? And what triggered you to want to get out of Antifa?
Getting out of Antifa was like getting out of a bad relationship. I put up with so much. I did so much. I saw so much. You know, half the channel, I'm still going through all the stories of all the things I did. But the short answer for getting out, doing everything they told me not to do. Listening to people they told me not to listen to, listening to music they told me not to listen to, watching movies they told me not to watch, reading books they told me not to read, talking to people they told me not to talk to, which is a major cult aspect of that. They encourage you to sever ties with your family. And I did that. I didn't even get to see my grandmother on her deathbed because she was a white supremacist. This is why I'm so fucking passionate about this. I lost so much of my life to these motherfuckers, and people wonder why I'm still so hurt, because they don't hear about this. They think I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist and, oh, the past should be in the past. And it's like, no, if this is happening to thousands of people every fucking day, all of their targets, they don't go after Nazis. I was studying Nazis. I was very confused why no one around me wanted to know about actual Nazis. So I didn't spend much time in the Proud Boys. I don't think they're actual Nazis, so I wasn't fucking worried about them. You know, but they don't like to talk about that stuff because it's scary. What's a threat to them is people like Charlie Kirk, who convince people like me, hey, you're fucking up. Come back here, buddy. You know, there's a man upstairs that loves you. Do you know you got a mommy and daddy at home that miss you very much? Do you know you look like a fucking asshole on these drugs? That's who they hate, because they threaten the cult.
Was there a tipping point? Was there one thing, or was it just an accumulation of things that made you want to start questioning the ideology and what was going on?
There's just so much of it, because you got to remember, none of us are ever out there sober. You've never seen a sober Antifa member in your life. So there was a lot of disassociation, and there was a lot of times that Daryl Davis came out and I'm like, I want to go talk to the conservatives. And then there was just other times that I just felt it was so chaotic and everybody's screaming. I was there, you know, at one point screaming, all cops are bastard, and we're all chanting, and somebody fired a gun in the middle of in the air. So it's like moments like that, it would snap me out of that, and then it would have me go back into war mode. And I think that's just what disgusted me, is over time realizing how much I lost, how many friendships I severed, how stupid I was being, how much I destroyed myself. Like, I have so much physical damage now from all the fucking drugs that, like, a lot of mental damage. Which is probably one of the only reasons I'm so cocky in doing this, is because my brain's fried and the parts telling me to stop talking are gone.
Let's talk about something positive. Where is your life at today? Like, where is your heart and your spirit and your head at today, now that you've been able to distance yourself and find some time and some peace?
I'm still struggling a lot. You know, I put down the beer 3 days ago. The last beer I had was actually when I was doing that message to you. I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of mark this to remember it. Hopefully I stick with it. But I'm still an addict. Like, I still struggle, you know. I'm learning how to integrate into regular life, because even before Antifa, so much of my life was crazy that I have a very hard time talking to normal people. People don't have a good time understanding this. Like, I feel better and it feels good to be doing this, but there is still kind of like a part that hurts, because the change has been made. And I was about to give up on the podcast, but I was just praying to God, like, hey, give me a sign that I need to keep going. Like, if I don't want to put this down, I feel like I need to do this, but also everybody's telling me to stop. My mission this whole time has just been to find one other Antifa member, ex-Antifa member, to sit down on camera.
You know what, though? Like, I completely understand. It's when it comes to things like cults, I personally can understand, because of my lifestyle and addiction and the criminology and, the way that I lived that lifestyle. You know, a lot of those people I had really bad, toxic relationships with, and I miss them. Most of them are dead. Most of fentanyl came in and killed most of them. And I have a lot of conflicted feelings about that. As much as I hate methamphetamines, I still had a 20-year relationship with that substance. And there's times where I still feel like a longing or a sorrow because of its absence in my life. But the consequences were absolutely devastating, and it turned me into a slave. But, they're complicated feelings, because we're complex creatures. And I think it would be really awesome if you were able to find someone that you could, talk with, possibly podcast with. So hopefully this reaches other people that are ex-Antifa members. And even if you're not, if you want to know more about Antifa and how Antifa works and all of the behind the scenes of Antifa, from somebody who's safe and isn't trying to indoctrinate you into the cult, I highly recommend that you go and you subscribe to Ty, whose channel is Triple B Collective, right here on YouTube. There's going to be a link in the description. I'm also going to add him as a collaborator, so you'll be able to easily and accessibly find him. Please go and sub and check out his journey and check out where he's been. I personally am so proud of Ty and all of the progress that he's made and the incredible human that he's always been, but he's been able to actually cultivate. And you could just see it in you, bro. You can see it in you. And, you know, I'm honored to have been able to sit and have this talk with you. Till the next one, everybody, it's one love. Be good or be good at it.
C'est à moi que tu parles? C'est à moi que tu parles, enculé, c'est à moi que tu parles. Hein? Ça, c'est à moi que tu parles, là? Oh, c'est à moi que tu parles. Mec, c'est à moi qui parle, son cul. C'est à moi qui parle, putain. C'est à moi que tu parles comme ça, mec.
They say what a man sees in the dark says a lot about him as a person. What will you do when it goes down? Where will you stand in the last round? What have you done when the time's out? What do you see when the lights out? What do you see? Explain what you see to me. When the lights out. What do you see? Explain what you see to me. When the lights out. What do you see? Explain what you see to me. When the lights out. What do you see? Tell me, what do you see? When the lights out. Fully automatic, orchestrating static. You can panic, I'm just making rackets. I'm just making racket. I'm that little shit that was abandoned. Now I'm rubber banding. I'm just off the shits and on a tangent. Gutter beauty pageant. I'm just waking all the vacant face, arranging us a planet. I'm just fucking crooked. It's no wonder my perception slanted. What I'm seeing in the dark is not the same as what you fathom. I see beauty in the ugliness you've always took for granted, like I planned it.
My life will not get back. That's all. Suffocating my mind, no escape.
Your mask is amazing. I wish you could have seen me in mine. They'll remember me now. They'll remember both of us. You and I both know I'm looking at the real you right now. My mask allowed me to be myself completely. No shame. No limits.
I'm just an instrument, here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city.
We spent our lives in this wretched place, suffering, wondering why us. Now they will spend their last moments wondering why.